Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I will be doing a super quick movie review slash movie reaction video for you guys. I had stated in the past few videos, actually it was in the goodbye video with Emily, that I have joined MoviePass recently, and because of that I will be doing a lot more movie review slash movie reactions in the near future. So that being said, let's get into it. So a few days ago, using my lovely MoviePass, I went to watch Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. It is a mystery drama film, at least that's what it's categorized as. And Agatha Christie, for those who are not familiar with her book, she was a famous writer, mostly known for her detective novels. I personally myself had never actually read one of her novels before, but I have seen some of her plays, and I have seen or listened to some audio plays in the past. So I kind of know what she is like in terms of her writing style and the type of books that she was writing. And Murder on the Orient Express is no exception. The movie focuses on a detective called Hercule Poirot. I actually had to Google how to pronounce his name, so if I butchered it still, apologies, but it is French and it is a little bit hard to pronounce. But anyway, so it follows along the story of him. He gets on a train from Istanbul traveling to London. It's a 3-day journey on the Orient Express. He had to travel there due to an emergency. So he gets on this train with a bunch of other train mates, fellow passengers. During the longest train ride, within that night, something happens. The train is derailed by an avalanche, and when everyone has woken up due to this disturbance, they're not sure what to do next. And shortly right after, they realized that a murder had occurred. And when that happened, the conductor went to Poirot to ask him to actually solve this mystery. And he accepted. And then the rest of the story basically follows him interviewing all of the passengers, figuring out their stories, their collaborations, who's accounted for, etc., etc., to really piece together what actually happened. And that's essentially the story. At the end, you find out what happened and the mystery is solved. So anyways, that's it for the non-spoiler section, and if you haven't watched this movie yet or haven't read this book, do go check it out before you watch the rest of the video. So like any other typical Agatha Christie novels, the whole book is the whole movie really is very, very combobulated. There's so many things going on. It's not a very big action-oriented movie. It's all about the mind twist, I guess. But at the same time, it isn't as intense as Sherlock. His is very, very all about the mind. Whereas for this movie, I would say that there's definitely a lot of plot twists in terms of characters. A lot of revelations were very, they kept changing, and it's very difficult to follow. And a lot of people had complained to me previously before I watched this movie that it's very, very slow. And I would agree, it is very, very slow. It's a 2-hour-long movie, and the entire time it was interesting, but I can tell that if you're not interested in movies that makes you think a lot, then this is not a movie for you, just because it is definitely one of those movies. So the issue with me for this movie in particular is just very similar of typical of Agatha Christie's other novels. It's revelation upon revelation. There will be a time when a plot twist happened, and then once you get into that plot twist, you realize it's actually another subplot twist underneath that, and somehow everything occurs really closely at the same time. I would say the main action was really the last half hour. Before that, it was all just build up in terms of who everyone was, their backgrounds, their history, etc., etc. And waiting until that last half hour can be a bit of a daunting process, just because it's a lot of complex build up prior to that. And honestly, I like the movie, but I wouldn't recommend it that much, just because I don't think this is a movie that's really good for, I don't think this book is really good for a movie, just because there's just so many things happening. I think this is something that'd be better suited to a play. I actually read or watched one of Agatha Christie's books as a play in the past before, and I really loved that. I think somehow the play does a better job at capturing some of the action, whereas a movie, a lot of that loses itself, and I don't know, I just felt like it could have been a lot better, in my opinion. And with, like, typical Agatha Christie novels, there are a ton of characters, and it's really confusing after a while to know who everyone was, because I believe in this movie there was what, like 12 or 13 other characters, and somehow as revelation occurs you realize that they all somehow know each other and they're all connected in some bizarre way that you never would have thought they'd be connected. And then when that happens you're just like, at least that was me. And at the end, when the whole climax occurs and Poirot reveals who the culprit really was, I literally was just sitting just like, are you serious? Like, I just can't imagine that being a realistic scene whatsoever. And the fact that no one heard anything, especially since he was awake that entire time. Like, he didn't hear anything. All he heard was some bumps going on, but he didn't hear anything major that would warrant a murder, especially since his compartment was literally right next door to the murder victim. So I don't know, I just felt like the ending didn't really make much sense to me whatsoever, whereas some of her other books it did make sense. So I don't know if the way how the movie was portrayed just didn't do it justice or whatnot, but this book or this movie, I don't know, like, it's interesting, but I feel like it was very, very overhyped. So anyway, that is basically the conclusion of my relatively short, I don't actually know how short this is because I realized I ranted a little bit more than I expected. But anyways, this is the end of my review slash movie reaction. If you enjoyed it, please do give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below. I also have Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram if you're interested in following me there. But yeah, that's it for today, guys. Bye!